Let's talk some more about this whole story. Let's talk about it with Aaron Cohen, Prince Aaron Cohen, former Israeli counteroffensive operative. It is good to see you. I had a little time off. You probably haven't had any time off. Aaron Cohen, can I just ask you, what, in your view, is the war risk of the ceasefires, which may continue for a lot longer than 4 days or 6 days or 10 days if Hamas keeps dribbling out hostage releases? What's the risk here, Aaron?
The risk here is losing the operational momentum, Larry, as John pointed out. It's no secret that Hamas is using this time right now to regroup, rearm, rest up, figure out where they're going to get those dollars and funds from to continue getting those missiles out up into Israel. But here's where I'm at with this, Larry. And this one's going to sting the White House a little bit. And you know me, I don't get political, but here's where I'm at. President Biden right now is being manipulated through psychological warfare by Hamas. That's what's happening.
Yes.
And they have success. Hamas has successfully infiltrated Joe Biden's head, the White House, his people, his staff, and they're pulling at the very strings, which is what Hamas does, which is use manipulation in order to be able to get exactly what they're trying to do right now. And it's not just Israel Hamas is trying to manipulate. Joe Biden is now a product of Hamas terrorism, psychological warfare. That's where I come out.
Wow. No, it makes all the sense in the world. And Biden is falling prey.
And he doesn't even realize it. And he doesn't even realize it, Larry.
Well, perhaps not. By the way, on that last point, he may be a willing partner. I don't know. I mean, he's got domestic political issues, which is the lowest form of politics, to worry about a few precincts around the country for a national election that's a year away, whereas Israel is in its great time of need. Israeli pressure, massive Israeli pressure, led Hamas to these hostage releases in the first place. All right. Is that fair, Aaron? I mean, is that fair? And to stop that, now it will be psychological warfare. They might release more hostages just for psychological purposes and to resupply and rearm and refinance. What about that? There's that angle, too.
That's right.
Iran's not standing by, are they? Iran is in the middle of this thing, even though the Bidens never talk about Iran.
Israel's got every piece of intelligence on Iran. Everybody in the world knows that Iran and its mullahs have used this perversive state of Islam. Their view on the world is, as I've said again with you before, is a complete caliphate, and Hamas is just the tip of the spear here with Israel. And the longer President Biden continues to pander, the longer he continues to play games and keep Israel on a leash, the more at risk he's going to put U.S. national security interests, which is ultimately the onus will fall on national law enforcement. There's only so much if you see something, say something you can do. Again, Larry, I've been training law enforcement for 20 years. When we're seeing what the youth in this country popping off right now, and they have no idea what they're popping off about. They think this is some kind of social justice movement. Hamas is a murderous organization. Those death kibbutzes, which is what I'm calling them right now, which Elon Musk, good for him for coming down to have a look at exactly what that carnage looked like and what those death kibbutzes looked like. President Biden's making a big mistake right now tactically for Israel. Israel, fortunately, will be able to continue to snoop and poop, which is what I call it, which is be able to gather intelligence quietly within the tunnels. Yehi Sinwar is playing Biden like a puppet right now. And the fact is he's probably down in Khan Yunis somewhere in the southern portion of Israel. It was declassified recently that Yehi Sinwar did address the last group of hostages which were released, and he said to him, "You're safe." But let me tell you what that reads to me, Larry, coming from the intel world. What that reads to me is that Yehi Sinwar is using those hostages as human shields. And that's the only reason why Israel isn't taking him out. And the fact is that Yehi Sinwar could have been killed. And the only reason why he's alive is because Israel is allowing him to live. And he is pulling at the psychological strings of Biden, knowing that the Americans and the Western countries are aligned with Israel's morals and values. And he needs to let Israel get off the leash. And I'll tell you this, Israel's got one foot on the clutch, Larry. They got one foot on the gas. And as soon as they let that foot off the clutch, which could be any minute now, any day now, but we're going to take those hostages back, Larry. We've talked about this. And we're going to, so our first priority is get those people back.
The point
once
is,
we stop getting them back, it's time to let the foot off the clutch.
No, to your point, I've said this. I think the only reason the hostage thing started up is because Israel was getting its work done. They were keeping the pressure on, keeping the pressure on, keeping the pressure on. If the pressure is taken off, I mean, I don't know whether 3 or 4 days matters. I don't know how many days matters. But weeks might matter. And if they take the pressure off over a period of many weeks, that emboldens Hamas. That emboldens Iran. That emboldens all of Israel's enemies, which, and let me make this clear point, Aaron, it emboldens the enemies of the United States. This is a point that I believe this current administration doesn't understand. We are at war with Iran. We are at war with Hamas. It's just that we don't hear that kind of language. They're at war with us. So why don't we strike back? That's the part I don't get, including Iran.
It's because the president is being completely manipulated right now via psychological warfare. That's what's happening. Israel needs to get back to work. The IDF is ready to get back to work. The IDF has done an incredible job. They will be teaching the Israeli campaign at war colleges for years to come because Israel's been so systematically successful at the thousands amount of terrorists they've killed. And the numbers that are being put out by the World Health Organization are given to them by Hamas, the 15,000 so-called claimed Palestinian civilians that have been killed in those airstrikes and that campaign is completely exacerbated. The fact is that many of them, if not more than 50, 60, up to 70% of them, are likely Hamas militants. 40% of the youth in Gaza is between the ages of 17 and 34, which is Hamas fighting age, and Hamas is going to sprinkle those numbers in. The truth is, again, Larry, the world knows that Hamas is manipulating and twisting. What I'm surprised is that Biden and his people, his team, has allowed them to infiltrate that Oval Office. He needs to get his head straight. And again, Larry, I don't get political, but we're talking about saving lives here, and we're talking about preventing the total disruption of the free world through a monster caliphate that's developing right now. And it's time to get serious, and it's time to get honest, and it's time to stop with this pandering. It's enough.
Amen. 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 Aaron Cohen, thank you as always, sir.
Larry, you got a copy of my memoir there. Let me know what you think.
I tell you what, I just got them. I'm going to commit them to memory. It's just as soon as I possibly can. But I thank you for your lovely and kind inscription. I appreciate it very much.
Always appreciate you. Appreciate you, Larry.
Take care. Aaron Cohen, the best of the best. All right, folks, come back here on Kudlow.